Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. So, you guessed it, we're back again with another Primarch discussion video. Who would have thought this channel doing Primarch videos? What a strange occurrence. We've never done this before. But this one comes from a friend over on Bolt and Chainsword. Go and check out the site if you haven't already. It's an amazing forum for Warhammer discussion. And it comes from the user Calderson. Sorry if I mispronounce your name wrong, mate. But he linked me to some information from an upcoming Space Marine novel called Ashes of Prospero. So what we're going to do, we're going to look at the text which was given in that book, and then we're going to discuss it because it's about Primarchs and it's about Primarchs returning. So let's jump in and let's get started. So the text in question is between Logar Grimnar and Njal Stormcaller. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. That's like a Norwegian pronunciation if I'm not mistaken. So Njal Stormcaller, who is a rune priest with the Space Wolves, is probably the greatest rune priest that has probably ever lived, if I recall correctly. I'm sure it's stated somewhere. But this is the text between them two, and this is Njal saying all this. So this is a direct quote. I'm also going to put the quote up on the screen. "None, my lord. There are stirrings, tempests through which even I cannot gaze. Even so, I saw a sleeper entombed in the rock, and a white storm that rode upon a chariot of lightning. A shadow rises to call the All-Father's messengers. A darkness that strikes from within. The benighted ones turn their supernatural gaze upon our worlds. The Eater of Worlds, the Corpse King, and the misbegotten child move once more. The Cyclopean fiend we have already seen. Even the Golden One has broken his gaze from the Inferium again. I felt its glare like a fire in my soul." Firstly, that quote was absolutely amazing. Secondly, I haven't had a chance to read this book. It's not out yet, but I think if you went to the Black Library Weekender, you could have got your hands on it. So if anyone's actually got their hands on it, I would love a nice little spoiler post if you can. Just PM it me. I would love to learn everything about that book. Anyway, back to the quote in hand. So it gives us quite a bit of information, and the chap who provided me with this information, Calderson, is already basically broke this down for me, so he's made my job a lot easier. So a sleeper entombed in the rock is of course the lion. The Lionel Johnson is obviously the sleep in the rock. A white storm that rode upon a chariot of lightning is for me is Khan. It's Khan, the lightning bolt. It has to be Khan. It can't be really anyone else. A shadow rises to call the All-Father's messengers, a darkness that strikes from within. Now, this is where it could get a bit trickier. Now, Calderson, who did this post, put Corax hidden in the eye and striking from within. And to be fair, I've actually got to agree with that. I think the only real thing I can think of is Corax. Either Corax or maybe, I would say Kurz, but Kurz is long dead, so I can't really see him then bringing Kurz back. But, you know, someone striking from the shadows is definitely either going to be Kurz or Corax, and since Kurz is dead, then for me it has to really be Corax. And he even mentions some of the traitors as well in the passage. So the Eater of Worlds is of course Angron, or the World Eaters. We already know that there was they attempted to bring Angron back on Armageddon, but if I recall correctly, it was the Salamanders that stopped that ritual, and he was not summoned back into real time. The Corpse King is Mortarion. Again, he's put this down. Again, I completely agree. Is Mortarion, and we all know Mortarion is back. The misbegotten child is Emperor's Children. So for me, Fulgrim, and again he states this, so I can see that being Fulgrim as well. I know we've had a little bit of hints of Fulgrim. There's a little passage, I think it's in the Gathering Storm books, where there's an Imperial Guard like communication of a giant serpent-like figure just killing hundreds and thousands of Imperial Guard, but it's all like blocked out by the Inquisition and stuff. So the hints are there for Fulgrim already. I wonder if, you know, this is the start of teasing us a little bit more now. And the Cyclopean fiend is of course Magnus. I can't even say my bloody words today. Is Magnus, and we all know Magnus has come back, and he give a little spanking to Fenris, to say nicely. And the Golden One for me is Logar. It has to be Logar. I think Aurelian is translated into the Golden One. I'm sure that's what it translates to. I haven't got any quotes at hand or anything, but I'm sure Aurelian means the Golden One. So the Golden One for me is definitely Logar. He's turned his gaze from the Inferium, which he was basically in like a 10,000 years meditation or something the last time we checked up on Logar. So Logar has piqued his interest into what's going on. So I wonder where they're going to go with that, because Logar always struck me as he doesn't really care about real time space anymore. It's just about chaos and all that kind of stuff. So I'm wondering if they do bring Logar back, how they're going to introduce him to the story. It'd actually be really cool if maybe Logar came back and he turned back into being a loyalist, since everyone sees the Emperor as a god now. How about that? How about that for ironic? That'd be pretty cool. Actually, I think it'd be really, really cool to see him, to see the Imperium as it is, since, you know, he got sconed for him seeing the Emperor as a god, and then 10,000 years later, if you don't see the Emperor as a god, then you're a heretic and you get killed. So I think that'd be a very interesting point for Logar to come back and look at and talk about. Now, from that quote, it basically doesn't mention some of the big hitters like Vulcan, which I'm convinced he's got to come back after what Nick Kime said in his editorial notes in his latest Salamander book. We've also got no mention of Dawn, of course. A lot of people debating if Dawn's even alive. He was killed in the old stuff, but, you know, his body's not entombed anymore. It's just his fist, which is entombed now. So they basically retconned Dawn's body being found. So maybe he's out there somewhere. If he is out there, where the hell has he been? That's probably another story for another time. Russ is not mentioned either. And, of course, a lot of people are saying Russ is going to be next. I just can't see it. There's no mention of Russ in any text I've seen at all. Of course, he said he'll come back for the Wolf time, but if anything, the time for him to come back would have been when Magnus attacked Fenris, I would have thought, because that really was the Wolf time. You know, they absolutely got obliterated on Fenris, so it's strange that Russ was never mentioned at all. Some of the traitors which never got mentioned, Perturabo was one. Maybe he's just chilling, but I'm sure I read somewhere that I think it's in the Chaos Codex that Perturabo has built a ton of siege engines and he's venturing back into real time now. Again, I haven't got that quote at hand, so don't take that for full-on confirmation, but I'm sure I read it somewhere that Perturabo is coming back in the lore, and he's launched an attack somewhere, or he's about to actually launch an attack. So if we want to take that quote on as 100%, maybe these are the Primarchs that are going to return. Of course, you can interpret which Primarchs are coming back. I'm going with the chap who sent me this. I'm actually going with what Calderson said with his choices. I think he's 100% correct. So if we're looking at this from a Loyalist standpoint, we've got the Lion, we've got Khan, and maybe Korax coming back. Now, I'm sure some of the Raven Guard people are like, yay, Korax. Raven Guard really don't get mentioned at all. I do feel sorry for Raven Guard. Even though they're my least favourite Loyalists, I do feel sorry for them because they hardly get any lore. So maybe if Korax does come back, maybe he's going to be changed. Korax has been in the Eye of Terror for quite, well, 10,000 years, let's say, if he's been in there. So I wonder if he's going to come back a changed man, because I'm sure spending 10,000 years in a warp place is not going to be that good for you. And he's the only one that hasn't been in a bad place. Of course, the Lion's been sleeping for 10,000 years, so he really hasn't been in a bad place, but the Khan has been in the webway for the past 10,000 years. Only the Emperor knows what he's been up to in there. Has he been just hunting Eldar or whatever's in there, having a nice last hunt, to say, just constantly hunting? Have the Eldar captured him? Are they torturing him? Has he been tortured or captured by someone else? This is all the questions that we need answers. There's a brand new book out called The Last Hunt by an author called, I think it's called Rob McPhee. Oh, I'm probably butchering his last name. I know his first name's Rob something. And it's called The Last Hunt. And this may be a bit of a spoiler, but there's a company of White Scars that actually go into the webway looking for the Khan. Now, this is set during all the new lore. So if I was to put some money on this, I would definitely say that the two big hitters, three big hitters that are coming back. Now, again, this is my personal opinion, and it's definitely the Lion. The Lion needs to come back story-wise because he's just the Lion. He's amazing. He's just so funny. The Khan is amazing because he's just so cool. He rides a big jet bike and he just laughs as he cuts people down. Of course, the Khan needs to come back. And Vulcan, lovable Vulcan, stomp, Vulcan lives. you know, he boops the snoot. We definitely need Vulcan to come back because he's just such a nice guy and he can forge some awesome weapons. And plus, Vulcan can't die. He's a perpetual, which makes him even 20 times more amazing. So 3 big hitters, Vulcan, the Lion, and Khan. And if you want to take it, reading this text, Korak's coming back as well. These are the ones that could be coming back for the Imperium. Please don't misquote me. I've had a lot of people misquoting my videos saying Valrak says these guys are definitely coming back. This is all speculation. You know, if you see like my video on some article sites, which I've seen them on, and it's like Chapter Master Valrak confirms this. It's like, no, it's not. This is just my speculation. Don't take my complete word for it, please. So again, all speculation. But the Lion, Khan, Vulcan, I can see it. I can see it coming back. And I wonder, there was a rumour a couple of months back that one Loyalist Primarch would return, but he would turn away from the Imperium after seeing what the Imperium was. I don't know how true that is. Again, speculation. Now, if that was correct and I had to put my money on that, I would see it as the Khan. The Khan comes back and doesn't like what the Imperium is and just turns his back on the Imperium and basically just becomes not a traitor, but an independent faction where he doesn't listen to the Imperium. He just goes around killing heretics and Xenos on his own orders instead of the Imperium's orders, because Khan was kind of like that anyway during the Horus Heresy. He kept to himself and just rode around just murdering Xenos and stuff like that. Like, I remember he didn't really learn about the heresy till like a couple of years after, because no one could get a hold of him. No one knew where the Khan was. It's quite kind of funny. So yeah, if I had to put some money maybe on one of the Loyalists coming back and turning away from the Imperium, I would probably put it on Khan himself. But there's so much to talk about. There's so much to do. All these Primarch bloody rumours are spoiling me at the moment. I'm sure some of you guys are completely sick of it. I'm sorry if you are sick of it. I just have to cover it because I absolutely love Primarchs. I love them to the Emperor and back. They're absolutely bloody amazing. Okay, on that note, I'm going to end the video there. I'm sure you've had enough of me ranting on for the past 10 plus minutes, but I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you've got any feedback on it, of course, post below. If you've got any theories which Primarch you would think is going to come back from that text, or maybe you don't want any of them to come back, maybe you don't want any Primarchs to come back at all, maybe you're sick of bloody Primarchs, or maybe you want a certain Primarch to come back which I didn't mention. Post it below in the comment section. We'll have a nice friendly discussion. Let's keep it friendly. And yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the video. It's been fun, it's been cool, and I'll see you all next time. See you chaps, and bye bye.